and gals, Nary here from Drake Wing Game, and it's sending me on Twitter the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you in the Let's Play episode of Heroes Advent Max's Path. So y'all, before we jump into it, just want to let y'all know that our Patreon is now up for as little as $5. Y'all can help support the channel, get some awesome rewards like permanent access to our community Discord server, and full access to upcoming not-safe for work videos. Anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm chain you are up, and let's go. I think. There we go, we're on that one. Okay. Cassian, it is pleasant to see you. I hope you do not mind my intrusion. You lifted your head as the rabbit sage spoke to you. It was as though she was right there before you, even though you couldn't quite make out her figure. Not at all. Are you still at the GC? That's right. It is imperative that I remain nearby to oversee the Guardian Crystal's mending. Although I've given you my blessings, I still regret not being able to see you all off when morning comes. No, that's all right, Alisa. Just getting to see you here is more than reassuring. Well, compared to what my other nights tend to be anyway. Yes, the nightmares. Well, for now you are safe here with me. Please, why don't you join me for some tea? Your eyes were drawn to the tea set and the various slices of cake around the table. You sure love your tea, huh? Even though I can't really taste it here. She tittered playfully as you approached the table to take your seat across from her. That much is true. It is little more than a formality, however. With all the commotion between the crystal's condition, your newly awakened powers, and the active threat to our hearth and home, there's little time to enjoy a cup of tea with good company. Her tone wavered toward the end as the weight of her disappointment were communicated directly to you. I understand, ma'am. Every day does feel like it's such a rush. I've had fun, of course, but it would be nice to be able to slow down a bit. Slow down? You're much too young to be considering such things, wouldn't you say? Well, when life is a hurricane, you do learn to appreciate the calm before the storm. I see. If only your companion felt the same way. Yeah. He's trying to now, at least, even if work is still in his mind most of the time. An admirable, if troublesome trait of his. She agreed with motherly disappointment in her tone. So can you not summon them like you can me? I could, but that can become quite perplexing for them. They cannot comprehend what they see here. Only those like you or I can traverse these landscapes with our consciousness intact. That's a shame. Out of habit, you reached out to the cup of tea mid-speech, bringing it to your lips as you gingerly took a sip. You were rather taken aback as you could feel the tea go down your throat, though the flavor and temperature were non-existent. So, tell me, how has the Academy treated you? Have the boys treated you well? Well... You regale her in the brief recap of the last week you had spent with Max, helping them out with their routines, preparations for the festival, the encounter with Linus, and the preparations you had made the day before for the next morning. My, you have been kept busy since arriving. I have been able to enjoy some rest between everything, though, even if it has gotten interrupted by a lot of things. I see. And have you come to like it here in Crystal Coast? Of course, it's a lovely city. I'm really enjoying my stay here so far. Enough to want to live here. Live here? If we didn't have to worry about the nether beasts, absolutely. She paused, a pleasant smile on her lips as she seemed to consider something. Alisa? Oh, I'm all right, dear. I was simply worried you'd have trouble getting used to a new town. Oh, what do you mean? Well, I don't know what your world must have been like, but I'm certain it mustn't have been easy to be somewhere so different. Like, coffee time. Okay. I guess so. It's not that different from my world, actually. There are a few things that are different, but it's mostly the same. Does this mean you've also lived in a coastal city? Oh, no, I lived in a city inland. I see. Did you like living there with your partner? Partner? Oh, you mean Carl! Sheesh, I almost completely forgot about him. It's been almost a month since I've been here. I wonder if he's doing all right. Cassian? Oh, sorry, ma'am. Well, I guess so. He did make it a lot easier to live in the city. It's not as friendly as Crystal Coast, that's for sure. Was it a hostile environment? No, definitely not hostile. It's just a lot more crowded, and people are pretty distant unless you know them. Unless you knew them, if you will. Is that so? I suppose having a friend in such a large place was a blessing. It really was. We grew up together ever since we were kids. He's helped me through a lot of tough times. I should thank him for helping you be who you are today. Well, you can't give him all the credit. The old man at the orphanage is pretty good keeping us in line as kids. Alyssa listened intently as you rambled on about life before college, how you've daydreamed about exploring the inner city, along with a myriad of things you couldn't afford to do. Then all the shenanigans you and Carl used to get up to, how it was when you got your first apartment together after leaving the orphanage. Oh, so you had not lived in the city all your life either. Yeah, we used to live in this little countryside before moving to the city for our education. I see. So life isn't so different out there than it is here. You think so? In what way? Well, I'm not from Crystal Coast. Not originally. Huh. Did you have to migrate when the corruption spread? Something to that effect. I lived in the Western Plains before I was summoned to work on the Guardian Crystal. Was it hard for you to adapt to the change? It certainly took some time getting accustomed to the commodities of modernity. Honestly, I still find much more comfort in the countryside or the forest side. It was also overwhelming when I first arrived. The voices of the people were laden with so much emotion. A person could only take so much. It was the fine young men and women of the guild that helped me get used to life in the city. Their strong wills and sharp minds reassured me that not all was lost. Their determination was very much a welcome calm amongst the stormy hearts of the people. You noticed a wistful expression on her face as she stares down at her steaming cup of tea. Alisa, did something happen? Oh, many a thing took place over the course of 20 years, dear. She gave a breathy laugh, lost in reminiscence. An almost sunny radiance emanated from her side of the table, like the sunlight on a cold, misty day. There was one foolhardy young man, barely a cadet in the guild's employ when I came. He fancied himself a hero among his peers. I thought, were he to face the king's forces, he would surely be killed in battle, and I had never stopped believing that from the day we met, to the days he'd attempt to court me, to the day he was taken from me. When the Guardian Crystal was at its most pivotal stage, we were warned the king's forces were on their way to stop us. The Gallanteers sent their best men, among them was my betrothed. When they returned, more than half the retinue was lost, but the king's forces had been decimated, buying us enough time to complete the crystal. I didn't even get to see him one last time. It was before I learned I had been with child for a little over 3 months. The people were sympathetic, but their sorrow only magnified my pain. I retreated into a quiet corner of the city to raise my child. His name is Pasquale. When he came of age, he followed in his father's footsteps, becoming a Gallanteer cadet and rapidly rising through the ranks. His father would have been so cross to see him complete the training in such a cavalier manner. She paused to release a quivering breath. It was only then that you realized her hands had gripped tightly to the tablecloth. We had made great strides in learning about the king and his powers. Many mercenaries from the guild had gone and returned, not from battles but reconnaissance missions. He was assigned to one such excursion. It took everything within me to beg him not to leave. He reassured me that these missions were much simpler than a simple combat. He vowed he'd return to me, but that was 3 years ago. When he and his team failed to return and their crystal signatures had become unreachable, they had been presumed dead. The people could understand a mother's pain, but there were those who were unkind to my plight. A witch, damned to lose all she held dear. That was the day I could not bear the voices any longer. I left the care of the Guardian Crystal to Aegis and fled to the forest. Alisa, Please, I need not pity Cassian. I say all this to you, so that you be careful. Do not stray from your companions. I would not be able to live with myself if you were lost as well. I try to be careful, Alisa. You don't have to worry. I have Max and the others with me. If only things were that simple. That simple. Ah, it appears daybreak is upon us. It will be time for you to join your companions. Ah, it's morning already? Listen, Alisa, when we get back, let's have another tea party, for real next time. I will hold you to your word, my little hero. Till next we meet. He woke up to the sound of the alarm. The sun was already rising from behind the mountain range. Alisa, Pasquale, how many other families like theirs have been torn apart by the king's tyranny? With a soft sigh, you switched off the alarm before hopping off the bed to begin your morning routines, ending with a warm shower to wash off that somber thought. After returning from the bathroom, you heard the crystal communicator beeping from your nightstand. Going over to it, you answered it immediately, hearing the static-laced voice on the other end. Hello? Good morning, Cassian. Did I wake you up? Ah, no, Max. I was just about done getting ready. We're all meeting in the honeysuckle for breakfast before we go. Save us a seat, would you? I'm helping Alex load his gadget into the carriage right now. Yes, sir. I'll be on my way. Oh, God. Like a door opening. You made your way from the dorms to the honeysuckle. Inside was the usual morning crowd enjoying their breakfast, with a few exceptions. Behind the counter, Cody and Tensai were manning the kitchen. The bear furiously tending to the steaming pots and pans as the canine served the floor along with the snow leopard. Hey, Cassian, over here! You heard Ray calling from a booth in the corner of the restaurant. Come on, I saved a table for all of us. And a seat just for you. He patted on his lap, inviting you in with open arms. That's all right, Ray. I'll just take a seat over here. He gave the dragon a sheepish smile as you sit opposite of him. All right, suit yourself. So are you excited for the trip? A little nervous, actually. I had a dream last night that told me to be careful. A dream, huh? After what we witnessed there last time, I'd say that's a good idea. Ray? It's all right, Cassian. It's just whatever. Oh, they're here. You noticed Max and Alex as they walked into the honeysuckle together. You both waved at them to let them know where you were. Cassian, Rye, good morning. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that, yo. Max, Al. Morning. Max quickly made his way to the booth, sitting next to you as Alex slid next to Ray, tapping away at his crystal phone. Everything is all set to depart. I'll bring the carriage from the stables once we finish having breakfast. Excited for breakfast as always, eh, Max? What, breakfast is the most important meal of the day? More like eat fast. I don't eat fast. That'd be a choking hazard. Nah, Cody's pancakes are the fluffiest things you'll ever eat. You won't choke on it. Unlike some prime Boric sausages you had before. Guys, phrasing! The four of you got into a rowdy argument over Ray's innuendo, clearly having fun getting a rise out of the rest of you. Thankfully, Cody and Tensai arrived at the table. The bear was balancing a large stack of pancakes in each hand. The canine chef was right behind him, carrying a tray of silverware and an assortment of jars. Quite a lively party. You have some rather spirited companions, boss. Whoa, that's a lot of pancakes. You weren't kidding. I suppose it helps to stay well fed before the travels. Yep. Nice, Cody. You really outdid yourself. Oh, well, thanks to Cassian's help, it made it easier to get things done. I even had enough time to get some extra cooking done before the trip. Nice going, Cassian. Thanks. Ray reached over to take one stack from Cody, letting him place the other stacks onto the table. Turning around, he took the plates and cutlery from Tensai, sending them out to everyone, placing the jars of sauces and jams across the table. I can take care of things from here, boss. You just enjoy your breakfast with your friends. Look at now. Thank you, Tin. Help yourself to breakfast when you get a chance. Will do. Please enjoy your meal, all. The German shepherd gave a shallow bow, taking the tray with him back to the kitchen. Cody finally joined the group, sitting next to you as you scooted aside to make room for him. All right, these are my favorite marshmallow pancakes. They're extra fluffy and creamy. For toppings, we've got Malvik syrup, spring honey, and strawberry, and blackberry, and prickleberry jams. Looking at the others, you weren't quite sure if anyone heard the bear, as they already have grabbed their own stacks of pancakes for their plates. You watched as Max stacked his plate high with pancakes, only drizzling a little bit of syrup between each layer. Cody, for himself, filled the stacks with one of the jams before topping it off with a modest amount of honey, just enough to glaze the whole thing. He took a mouthful of the pancakes to find them surprisingly soft. If it weren't for the taste of bread, you'd have thought you'd bitten into a marshmallow. Max's light drizzling of syrup prevented it from overpowering the buttery sponge, complementing it in turn. Before you knew it, you'd already finished up the entire plate. This was turning out to be a very light yet filling breakfast. It was a shame you didn't dine at the tavern more often, so you thought. Come on, Cassian, you need to eat more to keep your strength up. The canine swapped your empty plate with his stacked one, doing the same process again to match your stack with pancakes. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank you all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate the support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silvermoon. Thanks for going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you to our gold tier patron, Amr. You're awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to our ultimate tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to our not safe for work content as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!